All right, some sporting news now. And Argentina completed the turnaround from the shock opening World Cup loss to Saudi Arabia by qualifying for the last 16 in impressive style against Poland. Lionel Messi was instrumental again as they illustrated why they were regarded as one of the tournament favorites before a second-round match against Australia.
And still talking sports, where France had a goal ruled out by VAR. Now, that was a shocking one.
That was offside.
Yes,
VAR
it was offside.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. In the final minutes of stoppage time, as Tunisia held on to register a shock victory. However, despite victory, Tunisia failed to qualify for the last 16 of the World Cup. And substitute Antoine Griezmann volleyed in a dramatic equalizer at the Education City Stadium. But the VAR decision meant Tunisia captain Wabi Khazi's brilliant first-half goal proved to be the winner. All right, sports correspondent Abi Iyomon joins us now live from Doha. Abi, good to see you. When victory is bitter, help us understand what's going on there at Doha today. What are the latest developments beyond what we've just told our viewers?
Yeah, it's been an interesting match day here in Doha from Group C and Group D. First of all, from Group C that had the likes of Argentina, Poland, and Saudi Arabia, as well as Mexico. Either of the four teams could have progressed to the round of 16, but Argentina had to cut deep to get a victory against Poland. That's a 2-0 victory to ensure they topped the group, and that ensured the fact that they progressed to the round of 16 to meet Australia. But what is important is the fact that Mexico have been defeated or booted out of the group stage of a World Cup for the first time in 44 years. And sad for them because their goalkeeper, that's Guillermo Ochoa, and also their captain, who is Andres Godado, both 37 and 35 years respectively, who ought to be playing their last World Cup, and to actually be ousted due to the fair play rule is quite sad for them. They finished on the same points with Poland, but because of the numbers of yellow cards they had to exit the World Cup group stage. And also other matches were played in Group D. We saw France lose to Tunisia, but what's important to note is the fact that Tunisia got a victory over France, but the coach, that is Didier Deschamps, seemed to just be testing the group because they had already qualified. And if you look at the starting lineup, Camavinga started as a wing back. He's originally a defensive midfielder. We also had the likes of Dembele, Mbappe, Olivier Giroud, and so many of them being rested ahead of the crucial round of 16 game. But what is important to note is the fact that Argentina were able to avoid facing France in the round of 16. So France will take on Australia. France will now play another team, while Argentina will take on Australia. And it's actually better for Argentina. But if Argentina want to go far in the World Cup, they have to buckle up. They had chances. Messi lost a penalty, but the team stepped up for Lionel Messi. And France will take on Poland in the round of 16 as it stands.
Well, Abi, you didn't really happen the victory of Tunisia. It's all right. I mean, they didn't qualify, but beating the defending champion, a world giant in football. I think they made Africa proud, just like Senegal and Morocco, who are into the second round. All right?
Yeah, talking about Tunisia's victory, yes, it's very important for them. But considering this team that was started by the French coach, like I said, France had already qualified for the round of 16. So he opted to test the players. Camavinga started as a wing back, and he's originally a defensive midfielder. They had the likes of Dembele, Olivier Giroud, and so many of their top players being rested. The likes of Kingsley Coman had to come up to play. Yes, it's a record for Tunisia, but France were really basically unbothered in that encounter.
Well, the dent is there. It's recorded in the annals of world football that Tunisia defeated France. Whether they had all their first 11 rested, it was the third 11 they played. The most important thing is that Africa once again defeated France. So tell us, the round of 16, how is it really looking at when you look at the pairing? How are we going to progress? What countries do you think will be making the quarterfinals?
Well, for now, only 4 teams are sure. We had yesterday Senegal and the Netherlands progress, and also we had now Argentina and Poland have progressed and all. But there are other matches that are still going to be played. They are not the group stages have not been completed. Tomorrow, that's later today rather, the Group E and Group F are still in action. And later today, we'll see the likes of Spain and Japan. And also, Germany will be in action. And also, there's Morocco playing. Croatia will also be playing. And more. But what is important to note is that in the Group F, Morocco will take on Croatia. Morocco have had a very impressive World Cup performance. They were able to defeat Belgium, and now they just need a draw or a win to progress to the round of 16. But if they lose by 4 goals, it means they're out of the World Cup. But if they lose by a lone goal, they have to hope that Croatia defeats Belgium by over 2 goals, or Belgium lose by more than 2 goals. So there's a lot of permutations in the Group F. But in the Group E, Germany are bottom of the table, surprisingly, and they take on Costa Rica. Costa Rica have only won consecutive games in 2014, and it might be very difficult for them to get a victory over Germany. But as it stands, Japan need a win or a draw against Spain to actually qualify to the round of 16. It's looking easier for Spain and Japan, because if both sides play a draw, it will mean that Costa Rica and Germany will be ousted from the World Cup, for the World Cup totally. So Spain and Japan need a draw, while Germany or Costa Rica need a vital victory to ensure that they stay in the World Cup.
Abby, before we let you go, will it be too early to say, look, it's looking more likely for this particular team to carry the World Cup?
Well, it is quite early to predict the World Cup now, because like we saw initially, some of the teams that were not expected to get victories got victory. We saw the likes of Japan start the very beautiful win over Germany. We also saw Saudi Arabia record a victory over Argentina, but they lost to Mexico. So at this point, it's quite difficult. But they're already looking like favorites have emerged. A team like Brazil have had a beautiful, beautiful start to the World Cup. And there's also other teams too who have had a good start to the World Cup. For instance, Spain would have gotten a victory over Germany, but they lost that out. But they have been quite fantastic. Looking at the number of goals they scored against Costa Rica and more, the Netherlands have not done badly for themselves this time out. France too. So probably from what we see and what we hear here, the favorites seem to be France, Brazil, and, well, dark horses might be Argentina. Argentina might look like a favorite, but they did not start well. So it is still, people are still skeptical about the Argentine team.
Okay. Iyomon, thank you very much. Live from Doha.
Yeah, she's got so much to say, but unfortunately, that's all. We'll draw the curtain here, and thank you for watching Newsnight, as that brings us to the end of this edition. With me, Christian Ogodo.
And with me, Ngozi Alebu, from all of us here in Abuja. Our teams around the globe, have a great night. Thanks for watching.